This week on Under the Radar, we're headed to Oscoda, where towering pines meet sandy shores and adventure is never far away. We'll spring into nature, dine like locals, ride the trails, and cheer on one of Michigan's wildest races. Buckle up, it's gonna be a ride.
The Stall's Motors and Music Experience features a collection of automated music machines, neon signs, gas pumps, and 150 years of automotive history. More info at stallsauto.com.
We've been around the world,
But there's one place we keep coming back to.
and the more we explore,
The more we realize.
it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton,
I'm Jim Edelman.
and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
You know, if you ask me, there's no better combination than trees, trails, and tradition. And Oscoda's got all three. Let's go see what makes this town tick.
Oscoda sits where the mighty Au Sable River meets Lake Huron's blue horizon. With a history rooted in lumber and a heart full of hometown pride, this little town has quietly become a go-to for outdoor lovers, road trippers, and race day diehards. So whether you're craving rustic beauty or revved up action, Oscoda has something for every kind of traveler. Let's hit the road. Oscoda is located in northeast Michigan along Lake Huron's Sunrise side. It's about 3 hours from Detroit and just far enough north to feel like a real escape.
First stop, we head into the woods to a place that has the air of a sacred secret. This is Iargo Springs.
With cascading waters, mossy rocks, and more stairs than you probably want to count, Iargo Springs is part scenic overlook and part spiritual reset. Originally a sacred site for indigenous peoples, it's now a peaceful place to pause, listen, and reconnect with nature. I met up with Brooke Whitfield to learn what makes this spot so special and why you should absolutely take the stairs.
When I think about this valley and I think about the river, this is one of the perfect places to come view it. And it's the starting point for getting down to Iargo Springs. But that is tremendous. I mean, what a great view. This is a fantastic office you have.
It's gorgeous.
You come here every day, and how lucky you are to look out over there. What do you find truly spectacular? Like when you come here, what makes you just go, ah?
For me personally, it's just the fact that all of this is natural, not to mention that everything, once you make it to the bottom of the stairs, is all completely natural, but the fact that this is what we get to call home is pretty amazing.
Yeah, but that you have to manage the people getting to experience this along with being able to experience what it was.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's truly special. But when people come here, what do they expect to find?
I think they really expect to find a lot of people that come into a lot of locations on the byway. They really are looking for the nature and just the natural aspects, just being outdoors and the feel of being outdoors and just traveling and, yeah, like I said, just the whole aspect of what you would want to, just getting away, I think, from a lot of modern things that we have now and just kind of this, for a lot of people, this is an escape.
Yeah, it is, and they don't have this.
Correct.
And this is the wonderful thing about Michigan, is
yeah.
that you roll into something, you come around a turn off of River Road, and you're looking at this, and you're 20 minutes off of a downtown Oscoda experience, but you're out here, and it's kind of true for all the people who are walking through here now. I mean, but then you're also looking at the people who have to walk the 300 steps down.
Right.
And it's 300 each way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's you got to gear yourself up for that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what you get with these great spaces, is they
Yeah.
mean something to people.
Absolutely, yeah. I think people come here and they have memories from whether they were kids, or they're going to create memories, or they're looking to create memories with their kids and everything. And then whether that's, you know, just coming and enjoying the overlook, or, you know, getting engaged.
One of the things that you're privy to is this opportunity to talk to folks when they come through here. And you're kind of like a collector as well as a disseminator of information, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, I guess just constantly taking in, you know, new things, and then taking those things and being able to give that out as well. So, you know, you're constant. It's like a give and take.
Yeah, and you learn stuff and then you adapt it for yourself.
Right,
and give
yeah,
it back as
exactly.
it's your own, right?
Yeah, like, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, exactly. This is a big area. What's your favorite part of the springs? Let's limit it to this.
My favorite part of the springs would probably have to be once you get to the bottom of the trek down the stairs. I think it's just one of the most gorgeous views that you have. I mean, you have the overlook and you see the, you know, the pond and the trees and everything, and of course the sand hill. But once you get to the bottom, you have that 1,000 feet of boardwalk, and it's just, the waterfalls are just gorgeous, and it's really just unlike anything.
So now you're saying I got 300 steps and 1,000 feet of boardwalk.
You betcha.
Well, we better get started. Let's go walk.
If the view doesn't take your breath away, the stairs might. But trust me, Iargo Springs is worth every step.
Next, we refuel the way locals do and head to a place that's been serving up smiles for generations.
Tate's Bill of Fare has been a go-to spot in Oscoda for 25 years. Known for hearty meals, creatively themed food specials, drinks that are just what you need, and service that makes you feel like family. This place is like a community hub in a supper club. Whether you're in the mood for perch, prime rib, or a perfectly poured Manhattan, Tate's delivers with old school charm and up north hospitality. So I grabbed a table with its namesake, Bill Tate, to find out why Tate's is the talk of the town.
So Bill, one of the things I love about this room, the restaurant, is watching you work the room. You're part restaurateur, part ringmaster. What does that access to the guests give you?
Well, I learned a long time ago that the personal contact with all of the customers is important. They love to see the owner walking through, saying hello, even if it's just a small joke, even if it's just, oh, look at your quadruple vodkas, when I know it's just glasses of water. You know, they get a kick out of it. It makes them want to come back. Yeah. It's important to everybody. You go to a lot of restaurants and it's someone seats you, someone gives you this, you don't see the same person over and over again, the owner never comes by. You'll never see a manager unless you complain.
Yeah. You feel special getting to talk to you. You watch you coming around and like, oh, he's to us next.
Well, not just that, but being in business so long, we have a lot of repeat customers. I mean, people that come up for the summertime, they come here over and over again because they know that this is their best place to eat. They want to come back. When they come in, they see me here, then they feel more comfortable. You know, I used to be sitting at the door waiting for them, but now I don't do that. We have hostesses for that. But I still make it all the way around the dining room for every customer, every night. I talk to everybody at least once.
Well, let's talk about the specials that you have, because these are items you've had for years.
The specialty food that we make comes from our hearts and our house. You know, the chicken especial, my wife came up with that recipe.
Oh, really?
You know, the ribs are my recipe. You know, the things that we used to serve people when they'd come to our house. The Swiss onion soup you were talking about earlier, my wife's recipe. Where she came up with it, I have no idea. But she's, you know, and she's not in the restaurant business. She was a nurse in the emergency room here in the hospital in Tawas for 30 years.
What I like about the Speakeasy is you have a different theme every month.
Yeah.
And that means different cocktails and different finger foods. I think, you know, to kind of fill us in on some of the themes you've done.
Well, I'm not in all those themes, but
right.
But she did the 4th of July, the red, white, and blue, the Christmas theme. We did a Halloween contest thing. The drinks, her and the waiter Steven go over the cocktails and make them all up. and they do all the prep work for it. A lot of very intensive work on some of those things, like, you know, like grinding up beets for beeches, because you don't want to buy beeches because it's crummy. I mean, but just the paying meticulous care to making sure that everything's great.
Right.
They did this pomegranate martini, which with a mint leaf on it, but with another one, I can't remember what that was for. Oh, that was for the Kentucky Derby month, whatever month that is. Yeah.
May.
Yeah. Yeah. So she comes up with all the ideas for all of the speakeasies, and she wears contests. She wears costumes herself all the time.
Yeah.
You saw her last night when she was wearing her little pirate outfit.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's doing a great job on that. We have a new guy in the kitchen, Quinn. He's going to be doing a lot of the prep for that. So the next speakeasy will probably be mostly his food. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that works out too.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you think makes a place feel like home to a diner?
Well, you can go and look in a book, and the book will tell you everything you want to know about it. And I don't need to read the book. I've lived the book. You know, that's how when we got here, that's why we did so good in the beginning, was because everybody that came here felt like they were the only customers here. And I made a habit of that. I used to work over at the yacht club, and my wife came in for lunch, which one day on a Friday, Fridays were really busy. I'd do like 120 people for lunch. And her girlfriend came in for lunch. And when I got home, she said, I can't believe that what you did. She said, you had like 100 people in there, and you made us feel like we were the only table. I said, well, I made every table feel like they were the only table. That's what the game's all about. So that's why they feel like they want to come back here. That's why they feel like they're at home here.
Good food, great people, and stories that span over 25 years. Tate's Bill of Fare is a true Oscoda treasure.
After filling up, we're heading off-road, and Oscoda is home to some fantastic ORV trails. No better way to see it than side-by-side in a side-by-side.
With miles of woodsy forest, sandy turns, and just enough bumps to make it fun, trail riding in Oscoda is the perfect mix of adrenaline and awe. So I met up with Matt Traeger to talk trail tips, scenic stops, and why off-roading is such a blast in this part of the state.
How many trails? I mean, this is a really wide trail network, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the groomers just got back with me, and he says total 106 in the winter and ORV over 50.
And you're just pulling that out of your brain, right?
No, that's an operator that works for the county, actually grooming.
Wow. So they do limit these trails to 50 inches wide.
Yeah.
So,
and I believe it's the width. Farther west than here, this ain't bad here. You know, having two wide vehicles pass each other becomes a safety issue.
yep.
West of here, there's a couple little tight spots, but for the majority, it's not a super narrow trail.
No.
So, I mean, with very little work, you could open it up to more than 50. Should I have followed the signs?
Yeah, really. Do you use GPS? Or
No, I've been on them so much in my life that I don't need it, but there are programs, you know, you could have just like the road map, you could have it right here and follow it, the trail system.
yeah.
They do make it, it is available.
So, you know, someone who's new or a beginner or a visitor can get around with that. But so if you're into ORVing, you're gonna trailer up your stuff and you're gonna come here. And this is why you should come here, because this is virgin forest.
Yeah.
It's crazy how serene this forest is when we pull off and turn off the motor, right?
Yeah, I mean, most traffic here, we are limited in the winter with the snow, so most traffic here are locals. They have their summer homes, whatever, they come up in the winter and use the trails. We're far enough away from I-75, we don't get the average you know, downstaters, and it's not Gaylord snowfall.
Right.
You know, so we are kind of a hidden gem over here where you can come enjoy the trails and not be overwhelmed with this traffic after traffic. And so we, us as locals, we do enjoy that fact that it's a little lighter use, you know, or lighter traffic.
This is the high point that brings us to, which is where the Canoers Memorial is on that high point, right? And
Yes,
that
farther
great
west,
viewpoints, Iargo Springs,
Yes.
which we were at earlier. I love climbing this because you know what's at the top of it when you get there.
Yeah. You get a lot of these along, you know, basically we're paralleling the river, so you get a lot of these highs and lows through here. But
To live in the Oscoda area is you live very close to nature, and the forest puts you right there with a massive amount of land. So
it's a great mixture of everything. You know, you got some inland lakes. You can get out to the big lake, right out the mouth of the river if you wanted. You know, the exposure to that. The Sabo offers so much. The difference between lower and upper, you know, above the dam, between the sports end of it or even recreational, you know, your pontoon, whatnot.
yeah, or just sit on the beach.
And then the national forest right here, you know, so.
And this might be a question outside of your realm, but what's camping like in the forest? Are there campsites?
Yes, all along the river, there's numbered campsites you can reserve and come to. Yeah, right through the state of Michigan or DNR website, whichever one it is, I'm not sure, but.
So you could bring your side-by-side up, your ATV up, ORV, whatever alphabet soup you want to use. You could drive to your campsite and you could stay there for a week.
Yeah, outside of even Old Orchard Park, yes, they have national forest campsites. And as long as you have the right sticker, you can run on the forest roads with your side-by-side, you know, or ATV.
Yeah, so you're using the
stickers.
off-road stickers, right?
Yeah, there's two trail or a off-road vehicle.
Yeah.
And the trail is the less than 50 inches less.
Whether you're a seasoned rider or a first-timer, side-by-side riding in Oscoda is pure Michigan fun with a little extra mud.
Next up, we head to one of Michigan's most legendary races.
Every summer, teams of paddlers set off on a 120-mile journey from Grayling to Oscoda in the Osable River Canoe Marathon. It's a non-stop race that tests endurance, teamwork, and sheer willpower. And while the race begins a little further north, the real celebration happens right here, where tired paddlers and cheering crowds meet at the finish line. So I met up with Justin Griffith to learn what makes this event so special and why thousands come to Oscoda to watch it unfold.
So, I mean, Justin, this race, 7 decades, thousands of racers, it is royalty in the canoe world of Michigan and of the world, right?
Of the world, it is considered the most prestigious canoe race in the world. There are tougher ones, there are longer ones, there are, you know, bigger in as far as competitors competing in the race. But this is the one that everybody wants to do. The crowds, you know, there's no canoe race that you're going to go to where you're going to get the crowd participation, the whole community getting around all of these people. Alberto Blanco, a team, him and his daughter are in this year's race. 2 years ago, he called me up about a camping spot. I said, why don't you camp at my mom's? And they became best of friends. She invited them into her home, and it's that type of thing. You know, that happens all along the entire Osable River Valley.
Yeah.
People are inviting these paddlers from out of state, out of country, to their home to be part of their family. And that doesn't happen in a whole lot of other places, and it's one of the things that makes this race very special.
Yeah. Let's talk about the race this year. We've got the largest field that you've ever put together, right?
Yep, we have 114 teams on the start line today. Somebody broke their wrist yesterday or the day before, and so we were at 116. It always happens in the final days. We lose one or two teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the largest starting field this year.
Now, it's a two-city event, Grayling being the start of the event, Oscoda being the finish.
So there's two committees to our corporation, the Grayling Committee and the Oscoda Committee. We work on our own end. I'm just one small cog on a wheel that makes this whole thing work. There are families that have been involved since the beginning in 1947, and it's generational, generation after generation after generation. You know, all of these families have had very significant roles since the beginning.
What do you think it does mean to Oscoda and to the residents to have an event like this in town?
It means everything. The Chamber of Commerce was started based on this event after World War II. The Chamber, well, this race started in 1947, and it was an idea born here in Oscoda between Howard Brubaker and Frank Davis. And he was the East Hawass tourism director or something like that. And out of that spawned Chamber of Commerce's. The Oscoda Chamber of Commerce, I think, started in 1948. I'm not 100% on that fact, but the two are hand in hand, you know, and so this is the first event that the Oscoda Chamber of Commerce put on to bring tourism to this area. And tourism is obviously is the meat and potatoes of our lives.
There always has to be someone like that, and I think that's, you know, that it's your grandfather, that he did all those things along the way. I think that's a tremendous lineage, royalty, whatever the champion that we ran into here was saying about your family. I think that history is phenomenal, and I think the wonderful thing about this event is that there's people along the shore that can cheer it on, from the different portage sites to everything else. So I think that's fantastic. Let's go paddle around.
Yeah.
So when this started, you know, events like this weren't that big. They were small events, and any event is always a starting point for it. Yeah. But when I look at those pictures from those early days, and I look at the gear that they used, I mean, now you look at these canoes, they're sleek, they're thin, there's probably anti-fouling paint on the bottom that, you know, protects the bottom, makes them slicker in the water, right? So the technology is there. Is there any technology you don't allow to be used?
Not that I know of. Okay. I mean, obviously motorboats or, you know, motors or anything other than single blade propulsion. You know, so the canoes of today are made out of carbon fiber, and they used to be wood and canvas, like an airplane, like a canvas airplane. That's what they were made out of, and obviously then the aluminum technology came along. Fiberglass was the next technology, and then Kevlar was the first lightweight, super strong material that was used to bring this to a whole new level. And nowadays the carbon fiber has not replaced, but a lot of the top guys are just going to use a carbon fiber, the ultimate lightweight as they can get. A lot of people use a Kevlar carbon combination layup, which has a little bit more flexibility, the same strength, and is just a little bit more durable.
The AuSable River Canoe Marathon isn't just a race, it's a rite of passage. And Oscoda welcomes every paddler home with open arms, whether you're first or last. From sacred springs and comfort food classics to wild rides and world-class races, Oscoda is full of surprises and packed with heart.
You know, I think I'm going to stick around here for a bit. I can't wait to uncover some more hidden gems. So until our next adventure on Under the Radar Michigan, keep exploring and stay curious, my friends. After filling up, we're heading out and hitting the trails. We're heading off-road. After filling up, we're heading off-road. And you know, if you ask me, I like that. You know, I think I'm gonna stick around here for a bit. I can't wait to see what else is on the horizon. I'm just making it up.
The Stall's Motors and Music experience features a collection of automated music machines, neon signs, gas pumps, and 150 years of automotive history. More info at stallsauto.com.